Okay, welcome to the first edition of the Honest Fishing Report. The idea for this came through seeing quite a few fishing reports that you just look at and just don't know where they got their info from. So hoping this gives you a bit of a better idea of what's out there, and hopefully we can get you onto some fish. So the UKFC comp happened this previous week. It's been a really enjoyable compo every single year that I've done it. Great results every year, and one of the things that stands out every year is the guys seeing a lot of big kuta, a lot of big fish coming out. Don't be fooled though. There's a lot of guys in very prime fishing grounds, lots of water lines in the water. It doesn't mean that this is just an easy time of year to catch fish. You still need to work really hard to catch fish. So we'll start on the north coast. Looking at Zinkwazi, Jex area, Tinley Manor. Obviously the majority of the fish for the competition came out at Zinkwazi. Surprisingly enough, a lot of the good fish on the smaller mackerel baits. So I know everyone wants to pull a bonnie and a walla around, but don't be fooled into discounting the classic mackerel or a red eye. They can often get you that bigger fish, and you'd be surprised. We go back to the snook in that area. Strangely enough, we've been getting a lot of deeper snook. Seems to happen this time of year. So keep the spinning rod ready in case you see some busting. And your occasional red eye on the surface also works for them. That's up in the deeper cob and sandies area where you really wouldn't expect a snook. If we come a bit closer down the coast to the Jex and Tinley Manor area, it was a bit quiet this week. It can be a bit hit and miss. It hasn't had the greatest seasons, and the sharks and tax issues have really been a real problem in the last few weeks there, few months there. So just what I would recommend is obviously exercise caution in the area and pump those fish. You've got to get them into the boat quickly. Don't stuff around if you want to be fishing these areas. Seems to have gotten better over the past week slightly, so we're hoping for a return back to sort of normal conditions. Move a bit further down the coast. Westbrook has had a run of good fish this year. It's been very decent, although it was quieter this week. Salmon Bay also had a really good week. Lots of tuna around, although the bait has been a struggle. Maybe look at sitting closer to backline when you're looking for bait. The wreck has been a bit devoid of bait, so just sound around. Don't go straight to the wreck as your first choice, but tuna coming in there shallow, maybe slightly south towards Zimbali, and you'll get a fish. Then we look a bit south, more into town. Mshloti really hasn't had the best season. Those shoal kuta that were there last year are just not there in numbers this season. However, the guys fishing Peace Cottage area surprisingly have had a really good year. There's been the occasional good kuta there, a couple of tuna, so mix it up, eh? If you're going to go to Mshloti, maybe try stay a bit south and maybe launch at the old launch site, and you might be pleasantly surprised at what comes out. Then we go to town. The barges have been working. They have been holding tuna this week, but the shark problems have been out of control. We've had 2 or 3 guys being bumped by sharks while being on the tuna. Again, guys, exercise caution, and either you want to either free spool your fish off the barge, or maybe sit a bit off the barge, sit a bit shallower. You'll probably still get those tuna bites, and you'll have a better chance of landing them. But yeah, so that's the North Coast Honest Fishing Report as far as I've seen this week. So yeah, guys, get out there this weekend and catch fish. There is quite a west this weekend, although when we see this big west coming through followed by a few days of west, don't be fooled and go out trawling, because wind guru the next day can be very hit or miss. It could be, I often see this, where it could be perfect with the one, it could be blown out on the forecast, and then the next day it's a nice, easy, manageable 8 to 10 knot southwest, clean water, and fish are boiling. So don't be fooled by the forecast. Could go either way at this stage. And then yeah, tight lines for the weekend.